I think the thing that we've seen with this United team, and I saw Goldbridge saying this, is that you have the right to criticize these players for the last couple of weeks, but at the same time, they deserve so much praise for the attitude in which they showed. But it's the same thing I said after the City game. It means nothing unless you do it against fucking Ipswich, unless you do it against Bournemouth, unless you do it against Brentford.
Wolves,
like the best thing,
Newcastle.
Wolves, Newcastle. The best thing that we have going for us, truthfully, is the fact that we play Arsenal next. And what I mean by that is, got to get up for it. It's another Big Six. It's another rival. These guys are going to be up for it. We're not going to a Bournemouth. We're not going to a Brentford to where the mentality can drop off. And we're going to Arsenal, a team that, if there's a time to play Arsenal, it's probably right now. Mm-hmm. No Saka, no Wanyeri. It's probably the time to play Arsenal. There's a ton of positives to take for that game. But again, fellas, it means nothing if we don't string line this into a results. Again, we tied the game. We didn't get 3 points, right? Unless we can string this into after Arsenal, it's a pretty favorable schedule. If we can string into results and this can be the start of something, great. But at the same time, what we've seen from not Amorim, I'm going to say this group of players, is that after a big result, that mentality doesn't stay. It typically drops off and there's some relapses. So if we keep the mentality going, this result can mean a ton. Going to Anfield, best team in Europe this entire season, and probably should have won. That's a positive, but it only means something if we can continue it on.
This was the first week since Amorim's taken over that United got some consistent training under their belt. Do you feel like that played?
First time.
Do you feel like that played any effect on the game?
Amorim said it himself after the game. It's like training is one thing, and of course it'll help. But what he said is, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he essentially said that the training's not an issue. You can do all the tactics in the world. All these guys can have the IQ, but if they don't come into the game with the correct mentality to go out and win, not just win, but put in tackles. The best part about this game for me was Bruno Fernandes in the second half, because this was a game where it had everything. Emotions were high, and this is typically a game where you see Bruno Fernandes' emotions get the best of him. He does something stupid.
Too. He was so close.
he does something stupid. He's yelling at people. He's screaming at people. And instead, he was composed. He played great as a 10. Then he dropped in as a 6 when Kobe came off. And he was the man of the match. It might have been the best game we've seen him as a collective in a United shirt in a long, long time. But it's mentality. The training obviously will help in something in terms of getting the 3-5-2 in terms of how we want to play. But so much of it is just mentality, man.